have the careful inception.
For Gladiators, looking a lot more like the side that we like to see, at least. A lot of movement going on now as well. Bit of reshuffling. There's a ton of commotion down here.
Now.
So everyone's kind of ringing the proverbial dinner bell, if you will. And it started to bait in the rotators, the man them that want to pull up dinner bell, try and squirrel away some of the points. So let's see if that'll be a potential outcome here. Roadside shenanigans for NBE. Meanwhile, Melise engaging on Origo. That was big, Blank. Nice nade to open it up.
Yeah, an absolute chunky nade as well. Kisyu looks for another, sends it in, but Origo is chucked away just for the time being. Smoke's been dropped down by Melise Esports. They don't want to get caught up on the side here. In the meantime, Becca on his lonesome trying to take down the rest of DX Xavier. Does find at least Levi's here, which is fairly impressive indeed. See you later, off in the wings, looking if you could spot any of the players here in Lipovka. Alter Ego, they drop in Lipovka itself. This is where they've resided for a very, very long time now, looking to potentially get a little bit more out of it. But Melise have them surrounded. Reject once again, surviving their position, have to move forward. They know that UDO Alliance are behind them.
UDO, what can they do in a spot like this, playing on a hillside? Flags. Adjusting the crosshair, paranoid about the smoke expiring to his left, but wants to prioritize the correct angle, hoping they can get some shots off onto Reject. Once they expose themselves, they've got a three-pronged smoke wall blocking themselves at the minute, with the tree geometry providing a bit of cover as well, slowly pushing their way up past the bushes now, as Luther will jump in the rotate car. Should have got info on that as well as he drove up. Seems like he knows he can be peeked from the rig side. So we'll smoke that off and try and cover himself. Clutch up top blank. He's got a DMR as well to work with potentially here. Seems like it's the shotgun also. There's the VBS for close range engagements. And nade for boot. That could be a bit of a banger. Seems like it should be on target, but slightly off the mark.
Yeah, you really need an airburst here, but a nice shot comes through, and I think that's from NBE Sports actually over towards UDO Alliance. The Gladiators continue to lose members. Squash finally does go down off in the distance. The circle does center up and confirm up towards the Lipovka, so any team that made that decision early is happy about it. But look at this, UDO Alliance is losing members left and right, but the drop shot will at least keep them alive for a little bit longer, but the drop shot just ends up with them being dropped themselves. UDO Alliance out and Reject up to 5 eliminations. A very different face on this team, looking more Oni-esque today. Demonic coming through from Reject.
This is more what we wanted, right? You're raising hell a little bit now. They're getting stuck into the game plan, not playing as timid, fighting when necessary, trying to play towards center, contesting for edge control when needed. It's better from Reject, and they've got to maintain that, keep that course going. Don't let it drop off now, as they do at least find their way through the test of UDO and control that one. NBE keep popping up all over the shop. It feels like NBE have just been running back and forth, trying to stay alive from this roadside, having little moments of chip damage onto anyone that peeks into them. They're still here for now, just in front of Rejects. They're exposed if they go for a bit of a push. They're just using the smokes to hold themselves for now, but Zara is engaging with it. It's a nice first nade. Got the lineup on the second as well, Blank. The nades alone could be enough to deal with them.
Man, the long arm on Sarah is looking good, but nasty shots coming in from the Kaze through the smoke, takes down a fair few of them. Now Duello left to challenge versus the Kaze off in the distance. Nice shot on the edge, but quickly cleans them all up. And what a clean Kaze at the end. It looked like it was all done and dusted for the squad, but fantastically well held out by a Kaze. Gladiators still at 4 players alive, but one of the final teams to be on this northern edge alongside them and NBE Sports. Mad Bulls up to 5 eliminations, Gladiators up to 8. They're doing good here. You asked about a bit of a repeat. We even heard about the dinner bell, and so far Gladiators have been hitting us with some nice mashed rotators at the moment. These rotates have been clean.
Whatever they're cooking up today, Blank, it looks like it is fresh, not frozen. Nothing being reused here. Ooh, turning up the heat though as the kitchen metaphor continues. Have to get out of that one. Melise set ablaze, couldn't handle it. Kisyu dropped. as the M4 will give him the damage. Business being done. Maples close by as well. They can start to breach and clear, take the players out that are inside of these buildings now, but Frozen crumbles and cracks under the pressure on the contact. And it's all getting a little bit sheepish. Constant damage being fired out by Gladiators, sure, but no one wanting to make the first mistake. You have such a sheer number of squads all close, shoulder to shoulder inside of these compounds, with only Gladiators being able to complete the push down towards the beach side. They're in a pretty dream spot right now, and it's going to be so much harder for this heat map of teams we can see all on top of each other inside of the neighborhood. A nasty neighborhood, Blank. They're not friendly neighbors.
Not at all. Everyone's just leaving some horrid messages on one another's doors right now. People just aren't picking up the newspaper. They're turning the Amazon delivery guy away. They will not be handing that through the post box to their next door neighbor at all. But for Gladiators, what an incredible circle for them. Moves it towards this north side. They've had direct contact with a lot of these teams on the southern edge. What's great about this rotate from Gladiators as well is that they forced out the map balls from this position just with sheer firepower. Up to 9
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. You're currently tuning in to the official broadcast of the PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2022, and we're currently tuning in to day number 2, or should I say, the last day of the last chance qualifiers, featuring 16 teams, and only 5 will move forward to the main event, which will happen early next year. And of course, joining me right here is none other than Mafioso from Team A7. You guys know this, they're currently in second place. So you guys had an amazing performance yesterday. One winner in chicken dinner.
What
of course, you guys stopped a little bit in game number 2, but so far overall, number 2, right? So are you confident that you'll be playing well today, and how is the team looking right now?
維他奶蓋斯堡90粉絲推薦，味豆奶、高鈣仲有維他命 D。
que a gente vem trabalhando muito para trazer um bom resultado aqui nessa Legends. Fazer o mesmo jogo de ontem e acredito que hoje vai ter mais vitória do que o jogo de ontem.
Yeah, they're very confident for the game today because they've been playing hard for the last chance, and they will try to do the same game as yesterday, but with more wins for today.
There are more wins for today. That is definitely something that we look forward to. And of course, of all the 3 maps that we'll be playing for today itself, which one is your team most confident and comfortable with? And what problems do you face on the other 2 maps? Or are you just really good at all the maps?
Single knock results in
Então,
them
tipo,
finding
dos 3 mapas, qual é o melhor mapa para o vosso time? E qual é o problema que vocês enfrentam nos 2 mapas? Qual vocês podem ver em todos os mapas?
Acredito que o nosso melhor mapa é Aranjão e os nossos 2 piores são São Roque e Miramar. São Roque devido ao nosso spot, que é no centro do mapa, e muitos times caem ao redor, pode travar a gente. E Miramar devido à nossa rotação atrasada, que os spots são bem no norte do mapa.
So like for them, Erangel is like the best map for them, but like Sanhok, they have a problem because they land in the middle, and then all the other teams like around them, so it's very hard like to support our team. And for the last map, like they also like for the north, so sometimes they lose like some time doing like the
Great, amazing analysis of one. They feel as a team right here. And of course, how are the teams plan to stay in position 5? Of course, we know that the top 5 will move forward to the main event of the MGC. So are you guys going to be playing more aggressive? Are you guys going to play safe? Tell us, what is your plan for today?
Então, qual é o plano para o jogo de hoje? Vão jogar mais agressivo para continuar no top 10 ou vão fazer jogo mais assim?
No jogo de hoje a gente vai jogar no mesmo estilo de jogo para garantir o top 1. A gente quer o top 5, mas a gente quer o top 1, ficar em primeiro lugar, vai ser muito gratificante pra gente. Então a gente não vai evitar de trocar tiros, se a gente tiver que matar, a gente vai matar. E espero vocês aí na busca desse top 1.
So for them, of course, like they'll play like the same game, but
es una partida horrible, pero quiero que la veas, porque esto define mucho de lo que está pasando en Honor of Kings en estos momentos, y que tal vez si le damos un poquito de difusión a los errores que están... Honor of Kings sigue sacando skins y tú te los estás perdiendo, pues no te preocupes, porque en Neva es la solución. Es que sí, muchachos, Neva nos tiene un tremendo profesor en el cual não só...
Então, como última pergunta, ele tipo, quer dizer, qual é a mensagem que você quer enviar para os 15 outros times que estão aqui jogando o PMG?
A mensagem que eu queria enviar é que para eles tomar cuidado com a gente está muito confiante, a gente vem treinando bastante, dando bastante eles, e hoje a gente vai mostrar o poder da nossa bala.
So the message for all the teams is like for them to be careful because they'll be like studying all the different like 15 teams here, and for them to be like very careful because if they see them, they'll be shooting at them.
Just looks so absolutely.
Be careful, ladies and gentlemen. A7 is coming for you. Thank you so much, Matios, for that amazing interview. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to kickstart match number 1 in a few short moments. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this. But of course, with the host and analyst, and we'll see you guys in a bit.
絶妙な人いるからね、いる。テラサが運営する公営ギャンブル、テラサくじが激ムズ、一体何を予想する？
さあ、張った張った。この中華料理屋の900円のチャーハン、美味しい？量が多いだけ？
テラサが運営する公営ギャンブル、テラサくじが激ムズ、一体何を予想する？
Playing within Lipovka, there was so much infighting in that area, getting forced out by the gladiators. I think it was a very wise move to actually just set across from the rock side in the walls towards those buildings. Yes, they had to fight for it versus the lead, and it sort of gave them that position. I think things got dicey gladiators once again. These rotates are coming through quicker, they're more confident with them. I don't know what happened between the space of
It is the final day
of
action
some
here.
serious conversations between these lads on the team.
2022 last chance stage. At the end of our next 6 matches, only 5 teams will join the rest. We've already qualified through into the biggest event of the year, kicking off in January. And it's been a lot of money on the line, a lot of pride on the line, and of course the title of being the #1 team in the world. I'm your host, Jason Kaplan, and we have the Cutie Boys next to me, Maxman and Sans, to break everything down that's been happening yesterday. Which was an extremely exciting day.
It's Jason Kaplan
Today. Cutie #1, that's you, Maxman. How's things going?
Sorry, I think Jackie mixspoke there.
But no, I'm feeling fantastic, Jason. I'm feeling amazing.
The #1 Gladiator fan
good day yesterday. I would also
have to say,
unexpected.
It wouldn't be Gladiators
because the teams are at the top. I did not expect to be at the top. Like all the favorites, a lot of the favorites are still in the middle, somewhat even at the bottom. So,
and hey, you know, Craig's having another
massive
game plan in terms of eliminations, great position as well. They were able to crash
it. Really is. It really is going to be up in the air, and especially with the, I don't know, I guess there's a lot of pressure on the last teams currently representing their regions going into the tournament as well. So looking towards Enigma Galaxy, the last Arabian, the Titan as well, the last African representative, Damwon Kia, the last Korean representative, or South Korean representative. So a lot of pressure on these teams, and only 6 chances to prove themselves now.
Yeah, 6 chances, and that's pretty much happening with what are the culmination of what happened yesterday in the positions they set themselves in. But you know what, you at home, they need your support. The fan vote is going to be ending today in just a few hours of time. So make sure you're watching the esports center, use those tokens to vote for your favorite team. Last time I checked, we might have a change happening over the course of today. Maybe DRS Max can get on the board.
It didn't quite work out because I put my vote in. No, I'm not going to lie, I put it in for Game Because you know what, could have given a little bit of hope to my home team eventually, right? But
oh, now they're your home team when they're doing all right.
Hey, I always hope, okay, but my expectations were a little bit all over the place, okay? But I am Team Narvalo today.
Well, you know where my fan vote went, Max?
Basically close to Lipovka and like this.
And for things to try and manage their way through that, stream has made a collaboration with professional esports players, so you can play PUBG Mobile in 90 Hz with Experience Stream's total cooling system and multiple ports for intensive gaming and streaming. That's where my vote goes. Sandstorm, where did your vote go?
My vote went for Maxman.
Well, obviously the smoke wall that Maxman brought up while we saw.
I'm here to counteract some of Jason.
John, can we get one of them in here for Sandstorm? Also, a big shout out here to Pullman Kuala Lumpur Bangstar Hotel, where our world is your playground, while the players are getting to stay at and getting to chill and relax at. By chill and relax, I mean none of that, because they're sitting there intensely reviewing all the VODs from yesterday and trying to prepare for what's on the line today. One way they can do that.
Where were they?
Prime Gaming. Get some exclusive in-game free PUBG Mobile items, premium content, of course the other benefits with Prime Gaming as well. But as we move forward here, Max, I'm a little bit worried for some of these teams, to be perfectly honest. I know they say this quite a lot. For me, is in fact, they don't have any of the Maserati yet, which is going to be available till the 31st of December here, which you can get while playing in-game. I don't know. I mean, that's a pretty sweet car.
Walking where they
looks
shouldn't
pretty
be,
damn good, and you know what? If
be,
anything, it's almost guaranteed to make
yes,
top 5.
Salvage this,
I was told
because
officially that if you do have the Maserati skin in-game, you'll get official extra style points, okay,
but they
added
got
to the
kind of
mix.
rocked upon
So
Gladiators and kind of lost in the mix. So,
and as we know, style points is the tiebreaker between teams after chicken dinners, placement points, eliminations, how big your roster is, who's the tallest team.
Well, not to mention, you also pointed out too when we were watching that.
But you guys
Gladiators is probably the only team that could see them rock up on the beach. But they were about at that 400-meter distance mark away.
But here we go. These are the teams that have been participating. We missed out on yesterday. Well, you missed out honestly on a crazy day of action with a lot of unexpected.
What are you guys doing in that building? How did you guys even get here?
You can see a couple of teams. I mean, this is maybe the highest we see some of the teams. Like LGD, for instance, in the second place here. Not looking too hot when it comes to the overall leaderboards.
It's super interesting, really. I think that Sandstorm has already said earlier, I think that this first day came very unexpectedly for a lot of the teams that are currently at the top. Like, we'll look at the leaderboards later on, but DRS have been able to absolutely dominate in yesterday's matches, and are just looking hyper-aggressive, and it's been paying off so well. And well, Navallo, he's just a team on his own. So he just keeps on surviving. It's insane.
He really does, yeah. I mean, look, in the first game yesterday, he managed to get 6th with 3 eliminations for his team, and again, he managed to repeat the performance in Game 4, managing to secure 3rd with 13 eliminations. He had, I think, 4 or 5 for himself in that one game, so consistently we're seeing him being the last person alive for his team, and the fact that he's securing 10 points, I'm pretty sure that there's more that he's going to be able to get today, but a very good performance and a very good start for them on day 1.
Well, we have to clarify as well, those are points they've gotten as the only player remaining for their team. So pretty much Navarro got a fifth of their points in total by himself alone, which is obviously insane by itself. But as we look forward into our top 4 smoke users, kind of makes sense. I mean, Maxman, we've seen like walls of smokes, we've seen them utilized in so many different ways. Yesterday in particular, I feel like we could even see the map get some points because of the amount of smokes we had down.
And also, last but not least, before we head to a break here, the new
I think that what HC have done really well throughout all of this tournament so far is that they're really good at using smokes to wall off fights. Like, for example, if the team's on 2 of their sides, they're going to just smoke off one of their sides, make sure that one team cannot spray them down anymore, and then they're just going to put 100% focus on the teams on the other side, where the smoke are not going to hide their vision. And I think that's what they did extremely well on this first game, where they were pushing, I think it was on Bacon time, and also negating visibility bomb Alpha 7 on the side. It just enabled them to make in a second place, but then the DBS, off squash happens, and I don't know what you're supposed to do against that, but not much.
Well, I mean, it's obvious, right, Sandstorm? The only way to beat a DBS is to use DBS.
Exactly. If you can't beat them, join them, and that's what the server has been doing so far. After seeing so many fights being decided by that DBS, like we've seen yesterday in the first game, Inko versus LGD, just outside of match, and LGD didn't know what hit him at that point. And I think just every single team started to pick it up bit by bit. And I love seeing those close border fights with the DBS. You think you have an Uzi? You think you're gonna win? No, just get one pump and that's it. You're done. You're dead. So let's see if we're going to be seeing the same impact from that again on today's games, or our team's going to be bringing something special.
Is it now the DBS? Oh, okay, this was a weird one. I would love to know what was the shot call of that player. Like, let's just send us a 3-cart in a compound with no smokes and just get sprayed down by Mao Mao from LGD. That was... Hopefully we're not going to see that again, but it was pretty damn funny.
I know how you are the biggest fan of Gladiators, but luckily for you, we don't have to talk about them too much more, because it looks like with the points they've got these last 2 matches alone,
like, it is going really fast, so even at mid-range, you're not safe. Yeah,
there you go.
Right there. Perfect example.
16 teams advanced from this into that.
I mean, you mentioned Titan Maxman, really interesting to see as well. Like, if they end up qualifying somehow,
so a lot of work
as you can see in the Gladiators, that 6th match of yesterday, I think, is going to be the real page turner, the one that everyone's going to look back on, because Axer, unfortunately, couldn't play that last match. It was 3-person team for Titan, and they ended up winning things and catapulted himself in 5th place. That in itself is a great story, and hopefully Axer today is going to be able to help continue to build that momentum with this team. But DRS, Alpha 7, IHC, Titan, all are top 5 at the moment. But Maxman, big
为什么戴眼镜都封印不了刘亦菲的颜值？就像那个老花镜，我戴了依旧是温柔优雅的少女女神，而你却是个憨憨，眼睛角一闪烁，就连头前倾的丑态也都出来了。有没有想过，其实根本不？
人生太累，我下辈子不开挂了，只想当个躺赚的2代。
那你就多买点家境吧，
干脆全点吧。
啊？
于是我成功的穿越到修仙世界的顶级世家，但我却毫无灵根，是个修仙废材。
光家境好是没用的，别好是实力。哟，小侄子两岁节了，我是你的姑姑光神啊，小心风大哦。渡劫成功，这太黑了吧！
Best performance that we have seen from DRS in the BMGC. 81 total points, 32 eliminations. Not once have they been eliminated in the bottom parts of the leaderboard. Every single time they've been in the top 7 or 4 most games in the top 4. They're doing exceptionally well now. Not what I expected compared to the performance before, so definitely going to be on the lookout for them in these games.
Yeah, and I think, Max, like, if we look at DRS, I mean, obviously we've seen them around for multiple years in a row. I didn't really have them this high on my radar, or this high on my rankings when I look at the rest of the teams they're competing against. But I am pleasantly surprised, but I do worry going into today, can they replicate that performance? Yes, they built up a 30-point lead in first and fifth place, but I'm not sure if they can do this back-to-back 2 days in a row.
I would have to agree. If you're looking back at DRS and how they played in group stage, I think that DRS is like, no, middle of the pack, I didn't expect them to qualify top 5. But this new DRS 2.0
this is interesting.
Playing hyper passive, but the moment that they flip that switch, they just go in super aggressive mode, start clearing zone after zone after zone and taking as much as much space in the circle as they possibly can. It is a team that can now convert chicken dinners. I mean, we saw it yesterday in that, what was that, game number 4, 10 eliminations and a chicken dinner, followed up with a 4th place, a 3rd place. On game 2, they got a 2nd place. They just keep getting these top 5 finishes, and when you have such a short tournament, only 2 days of play, that might just be enough to remain in that top 5.
Well, let's actually take a look at your teams to watch. Maybe either one of you do have DRS actually in there. Oh, okay. Well, Max, I'm glad I threw it to you to talk about it. I didn't even know you had him as a team to watch, so we know exactly why you're going with them. Game Lord, kind of guessing because you're working reasonably well too. And then Bigatron because you don't want to lose your eyebrows.
Also, I do have to speak for the segment. I don't think so. Sandstorm, why?
Several reasons. Besiktas, they managed to get themselves a chicken dinner yesterday, but 4 of their 6 games were in the bottom 4. So that chicken dinner did give you a chance to keep fighting and stay alive in this tournament, but other than that, it's going to be very difficult for them for the rest of the games. HVVP, we've seen them come back again, chicken dinner, huge improvement on their performance, but which HVVP are we going to see?
我下辈子不开挂了，只想当个躺赚的二代。那你就多买点家境吧，干脆甜点吧。啊！于是我成功的穿越到修仙。
知道你现在扣了我多少利息吗？你要起高度。那多少利？ Of the storyline and the narrative as well, with like the interview we had. 你知道你现在扣了我多少利息吗？你要起高度。
I was complimenting you like 2 minutes ago. You should be on my side. That's what I have.
There is no sides here on the desk. It's everyone for themselves.
What have they got?
No, what were you going to say about HVVP?
So I want to touch on HVVP because I was able to look back through the VODs a little bit yesterday and through the map feed, and I really think that the main issue I pointed out yesterday is really coming into like be the main issue for them, which is they are just a little bit too slow on the rotations. Like a lot of the teams that play Edge are just so quick. They really are. They see the circle, boom, everyone almost instantly in their cars playing Edge circle. HVVP, especially if they go for secondary drops, they're just a little bit slower to get in like the flow of things, and they just get gate kept so often. I think they had 3-4 games in a row yesterday where they just get gate kept, and they just could not get any strong position. I think if they just speed things up a little bit, they'll be there, because technically the entry points are good, just a bit slow. So if they speed things up, I think we can see the new HVVP we wanted to see.
They did seem a bit on edge.
Well, you know what? I mean, hopefully they've been able to realize that as well and have been able to figure some things second day. It wouldn't be a PMGC in my eyes without HVVP there. There's also without HVVP Sandstorm. We've got Vampire Esports in 15th place.
Which isn't always
didn't expect that to happen considering what we've seen from them in the past. They have a Galaxy in 13th place, Besiktas in 12th place, LGD at 11th, and even Reject Damwon 10th and 9th respectively. There's a lot of these big name teams and big players that we've seen just over the course of this event alone that just haven't been able to perform in that first day.
I think they should be very pleased with their,
I mean, sometimes it can come down to there's a lot of pressure on the teams. It can come down to not having the international experience in these tournaments, and it can also come down to the fact that we have the best teams in the world, and there's bound to be some teams that are not going to be able to perform on that level, but sometimes we do get surprised with, for example, like you mentioned, LGD. They had a strong start in the group red, and then not being able to make it to the grand final, struggled a little bit. But they performed very well in the survival stage, which is kind of what baffles me a little bit. Is this the group green effect whenever they're like teams from group green or their LGD just can't do anything?
The more they can stake their claim on these rotations
well,
and be a team.
I'm not going to answer that question, but you know what? Maybe our casters can answer that question, or just let the gameplay alone answer it, because we're going to be heading over to our commentators to kick off our first match here of the day. Our one of 6 remaining matches here in our last chance stage. So John Allen and Blink,
don't mess
take it away.
God, like a late night walk home, Blank. And you're like,
we are over the midway hump, and we are going downhill, and we will not be stopping. There are no brakes on this train.
I mean,
we're inexorably drawing to a close here for the last chance stages. All these teams, they're trying to hang on for dear life.
They are 100%. I mean, there's not many places you can hang on. So these teams are on the outside of the train as well, so it's getting real windy out there, and there's a tunnel coming out, so they got to duck their heads, make sure they can make their way through these last 6 matches. There is some teams that I worry about massively. I'm looking it down towards the bottom of the leaderboard. Top Harry spots 25 points by even time. The two tight teams joining one another arm in arm at the bottom of the leaderboard itself. But it seems to work. I do think that comeback can still be made, but it would be very difficult to make happen.
Unorthodox strategies do seem to work back. If your enemy can't prepare for it, how can you, I suppose?
We'll see if they can
some way.
Those numbers. He's done a 720 kickflip roundhouse. Oh my lord! Let's see that coming.
But heading over to our first match of the day,
this is wild. Look at the man doing ollies in the car.
It is all to play for the same set. With Axa back in for the Titans as well.
Put the skateboards down.
4 players strong, which is good.
We need to get back in the game here, and some of these teams definitely need to get rolling. Certainly towards that bottom side of the lobby, we're looking at N-Hyper, You Do Alliance. Nick Galaxy sort of are disappointing us so far, I would say. And I mean, they're on screens right now. Rage Ocio will take down Lord from Nick Galaxy. And again, they keep just hemorrhaging members, I would say, on their rotates. You know what? I didn't actually get to talk about this last game, but I will talk about it now, is that some of their rotates feel extremely greedy. I think that last match, most of the teams on that south side realised that, look, if we're on the edge already, I mean, they were rotating in from, what was it, Milta? They were battling out versus Inco early on. I think in that case, you just have to slow push away towards the circle. You're potentially not going to get a high place off the back of this, but they could have easily taken up where Duxan was playing, and Duxan got themselves second place. Decent, good stuff.
A lot of times when they're playing on the northwestern edge anyway, it is a long haul down towards the eastern side of the map where we've seen a lot of these
driving around to try and find another central position. I think at that point you just have to realise that this is not working out. Teams aren't just going to let you free roam anymore.
This circle basically favours absolutely everybody.
It did feel like one of those where you're kind of thinking you frame that away a little bit.
You did have a bottom part of the map
a potential to try and see what you could actually get out of the game, whereas instead, I agree with you, the rotation was a little bit careless, and potentially even just the idea to jump out at that point, you know, you're only going to delay yourself even more in terms of like the start-up time for the vehicle to actually get away, right? And it just meant they went from a 4, stuck in a very small camper van to a 3.
At that stage of the playing path that early on will not.
A couple of pot shots been going out here though. We've seen a little bit of damage coming across.
Want to be getting on board with Captain Messi. He is joining the PUBG Mobile battlefield, stand out on the battleground with the Messi football.
Here's one for you as well, Blank. When we saw that first knock,
100% worth it as well. Looks very cool.
Raging OCO
Flavors
in the car
100% rocking it over on the interviews.
Call
he looks
that
very,
Road
very
Rage
cool
OCO.
well.
Oh,
I'm jealous. I wanted to. I wish I was wearing that today. It would give me the comfort, the ability to take this all the way to the end. In the meantime, Besiktas going against Inco at the moment. Squash will try and run down one of the players and be successful with it.
Not quite towards the centre right now, but a single elimination. They'll be happy, pleased with that one. Xavier also pretty pleased
here with this vehicle. He has a really good chance to actually take down the whole team.
Chinky, but they get themselves.
Zessi does manage to pop the reload there. I knew that these vehicles were going to be contested. I didn't realise it would be full squads contesting for a couple of these
these vehicles. Looks like that backup did come through. Inco lose one. I think Rejectors also losing one. They will be able to res there as well. So both of these teams fully disengaging
a bit of a
from this
dangerous
area.
push, I would say. And you still have Tixi and Matic on the backside here with Kitsune and Meku going for this scout early on. You can see them starting to get a little bit squeezed here by the hydraulic press
considering their
of
recent
teams.
performances, which is a case of 2 games has made up the majority of these 54
this
points.
is a greedy rotate.
That is
and I
slightly
think for
worrying. But
anyone
that does
in this
not worry me
location
whatsoever. It makes me very happy.
I'll be
In fact,
trying to
that
spot
tomorrow,
out some of these
December 5th,
stragglers,
we
trying
will
to
be
take
seeing
pot shots towards
2022
them as
PUBGC
they
special
move
crates
through.
releasing all the way through to
Ralph out the
January 8th, so
vehicle.
make sure you get your hands on
Taken
those
down
whilst
by
you still
Nasa.
can. But
this
it
is
all
very bad
back
news
on
bears right
this
now for
one
Enigma
right now,
Galaxy.
this
I think
match,
this
this
is something that
day
we
in
saw
particular,
over
where we'll
towards
find
their
out
group stage
exactly
as well,
which
as
top
that
5
at the
teams will
start
be through to the
doing
grand
great.
finals.
You know, happy
Honestly,
days
it is
for
getting a
Enigma
little bit
Galaxy.
scary
Some
as we're
strong
seeing a much
rotations
more-
were coming through for
we have
this
much more info
team.
to go off from yesterday. And again, like I was saying,
when you
Inco,
looked
2
at them
matches make
further
up
in towards the group,
vast share
their
of those
rotations
54
were
points
getting
they
read
have.
so
Now, they could
easily, time
take
and
a
time again.
similar
I think that's
approach
the
today,
final
where
player
if they
from
get
Enigma
2
Galaxy
games and
about
they're very
to go down
happy,
soon, but
themselves
Reject
secured
taking a lot of
towards
knocks
that
their
top
own.
5.
Gladiators
However,
barely
this is
surviving
now the
themselves.
adaptation
Good
day.
amount
This
of
is where
damage.
teams can
Meku's
figure
on
out
the
what's going on,
side.
what
Trying to
works, and
swing
they will
out.
have looked
Lovely
at
nade.
yesterday, they will
Will
have
take
looked
down
at Inco's
Meku, and now it's just
rotational
Matic
paths,
to try and
where they're
hold down the
finding
door.
these easy positions to get
Well,
towards
that's
the
a nice
circle,
trade,
where they're
actually.
sending
And he's played it
as well.
smart. He set himself up so that he could try and nade. I thought he was going to get the first
or even
off
pick
on
them up for
Meku
their
with
own.
it, but
And
instead
Inco,
engages towards
although
Matic.
very good in
Matic's
the
basically as good
macro,
as God here.
decently
No
geared towards that
HP,
end game
nothing
of
to
picking up
defend
a lot of
himself
eliminations.
with.
Usually
All off
do
the
it
back of
where
Cluck's
they are
nades
the
there. So
four-man squad,
nice
they're
retake
essentially
on the
taking down
comp out. That
three-man
was
squads,
smart in the way
two-man
he used his
squads, and it's a lot
utility.
easier for them
And
to
that's
actually hit those
unlucky
kind of numbers
for the
that way.
Gladiators. So Jason
This time
Kaplan's
around, I think
prediction
Inco
there,
will
not
find
coming
it a
true
little bit
blank, because
harder
they've
to
gone
get
down
those
without a
easy
single
positions towards
elim
center.
on that
They're
one.
already losing
Got a bit
one
too
player,
big for their
sets them
boots.
back at that disadvantage.
That's what I'm talking about. But they've slowed it down, as I asked them to. Well done. You know, this is more the Gladiators we're used to. You know, going down the first 2 stages. That's great. Brilliant. Now,
all the way on the south coast,
do something a little bit more next game. Maybe revert back to, you know, making not the greatest rotations.
Yes,
to be fair, that wasn't
but it's more
bad by
likely
any
that they can
stretch of the
just
word.
take
I
that
quite
bridge
liked
on
it.
the western
Unfortunately for
edge.
them, I think
Down
you
one
make that
central
rotation
in
a little bit
apartments,
too late.
pretty powerful
You've got
spot
players
given the
that
circle as
are
it
not
is.
quite
A lot
on
of
with the
space on the
vibe there on the
northern side
backside
of the
with
river hasn't
Matic
been
and
taken
Tixi, who are not up front and personal with Kitsune and
I think
Meku.
with the playing
You
path
just
as well,
get shot at
that's
by
kind
teams
of
on the
a
side trying to
likely
get
thing to
in
have
towards that
happened here, which
warehouse
is where
that you do
Severny
Alliance,
shooting
quite
range
frankly,
all very
already
free.
had a lot of
HVP
control
may
over.
have made
Could have gone a different way
a different
if
call
Meku
if
maybe
they'd
had found
known
that
that the
second
circle
shot,
was
but
gonna
like
head
you
this
said,
far
some
towards that
great
northern
nades
side.
coming
They
out
might
from
have
Cluck
even
there
taken all
on
the vehicles
you
they
do
could,
Alliance.
considering this
In the
lobby is
meantime, let's
very
have a look at where some of these other teams
Eastern-centric.
are
A lot
playing.
of the
Enemy
western
esports
side
up
isn't
towards
taken up by
that
teams, so
northeast
they could have
side.
easily picked up
Not a
some
huge amount of
vehicles
points
towards that
found, but
western
they're
coast, headed up
consistently in the game,
past
right? And I think
towards
that's
North
something that's
George,
great
and
to
had a good
see
game.
so
Either
far
way, I
on
think
that
this is
side.
the numbers play. This is the one you go for. It's the most consistent.
Yeah, they've been
you're
making
not
a lot of
relying on the
cameo
circles a lot of times. It
appearances,
still
you know,
gives you a
even
lot
in
of loot.
situations
You get
where
looted
it's just
early
one or
as
two
well. You don't want to be
elims
at
and they
North
stay
George
alive.
towards that
It feels
4-minute
that they're
mark with
always popping
absolutely no
up
gear on you
to be a
whatsoever,
little bit
and then
annoying,
forced to
nip at
make a
teams'
very
heels,
hectic rotation
and
from zone
try
2.
and
So I think
farm
this
the
is the
odd
smart move
points
from them.
here
Similarly,
and
I8 down
there.
towards Sosnovka. They
This
can
is
move
one that
out.
feels
There
like
is
it's
IHC
just
in
a
this
matter
area
of,
though,
you
so
know,
there's a
the
lot of
shakes
teams
at
all
the
trying to
minute.
get their
Feels
way
like you're being
through
forced further
outside
and
of
further
Sosnovka.
back, and
Both these
Rejects
teams will
know
have to
they're
be
being
a little
hunted
bit
on this
careful.
one. Trying to play
Vacant
with at
time at the
least
bottom
some
of the
map
tables right
geometry
now.
to give them cover.
Get central
As Nasser are
fairly
definitely
early.
roaming quite far out and looking to gain a
Currently
good
playing
understanding.
Well, I'd say central. They're sort of on the outside of the centre pack right now, but it's a pretty solid compound as well. Like nice sightlines out nearby to them. They'll have a lot of rotational opportunity
as well.
ahead of them.
Right, yeah, so that's
but
just
with
the
how
one
tightly
man
packed
that
the centre
remained.
is,
His
it
entire
might be
team
curtailed that little bit. Misery spots Game Lord rotating past.
So I suppose it's
spots them
best
rolling
case
on into the
scenario,
compound as
how
well.
far
Spots
can
them
he
crashing
go,
in.
right?
Spots the hop out as well.
Looking at a
Spray is not going to
placement
be
game
good for the first
with
knock.
this one.
Actually traded
Pretty
off
early.
Novallo.
Going to be a while on the stopwatch before we come back to that point.
And Misery out for
I do think
really
it's
needed to
definitely
find
comes
that
back to that
first knock
case
on
of
the
Enigma
roller.
Galaxy. A lot of their rotations getting read into towards the end of their group.
Misery's usually very good at that, which is catching players off guard, but I think that he was a little bit all over the place there,
teams down towards the bottom as well, which just
maybe holding a
to make
single
these
angle
rotations.
but
And I think you try and do the same thing again here in the survival stage, where every single team is very willing to take shots and has great gun skill. Remember, these are the best teams in the world, all fighting out for a place in the grand finals to really display what their region, what their team has to offer to everyone that wants to watch. So I think that for Enigma Galaxy, again, it's just because you can't just randomly rotate over heals. You need to have a bit of scouting going on. You need to ensure you know exactly where some of these teams might be playing, so you can angle yourself in such a way that you can cross and be out of the line of sight of some of these squads that might take shots towards you. If we see it again on that next match from Nigma Galaxy, where they make a random rotate like that and start losing players out the back of the vehicle, I would be fairly remiss to say that this is another team that's feeling like they're going to be in the bottom 8, because I don't sense an adjustment coming through
just on the southwest side of those Yasnaya fields could be a little bit hotter. I mean, we saw obviously the roll-up from Game Lord over on that
side.
Give
the whole squad a facelift in such a short space of time, right? I don't really think there is enough adjustments that could be made to really change things around quick enough. That's the problem.
Losing it feels like players not ideal. But again, this is why most teams will shift really central early on. I think it's acceptable to play very center on that first zone shift, just because you're expecting a circle like this to occur, and then people can start to play edge from here on out. But getting a central spot early gives you a very high chance of getting towards that area. Game Lord deciding to move a little bit further in, clear out maybe one of these teams. BTR have to be quick with it now. Obviously, shutting out of that top 5 placement. 51 points tiebreaker on the chicken dinner. Going down here at the start of the day would not be good for them. So when they goes through the window, it's absolutely perfect. It could be going down first.
Oh, another one in through the window. 2 nades, 2 knocks. It's Jen Foster, a third nade through. They will be able to find an answer a little bit. Has the M249, a lot of bullets, but not going to be able to find the second knock onto Victor. Vallo does fall, but Bigatron swept aside.
Taking damage from quite far away. The Mini 14 pounding the pressure out and buying them enough time to go back on the rest. They've got the ridge as well, so you're covered from the road. They don't have to worry about getting tapped in the head just yet.
Exactly, that pushes them up past Titans.
But what's the game plan here? How are they going to play this one?
Just behind
I think your difficulty comes in the fact that you're getting pushed in by the blue. Stage 4, it will hurt.
So far.
You sort of need to make a move soon, but Nasa's sort of unwilling to give up his position on the eastern side. They know how important his compound is to them over towards the eastern side of the circle. They don't want to let a team get through for free. MBE Sports, on the other hand, decide that, look, we're going to take shots over towards Inko. Becker in the way, gets absolutely crunched, but lives off the back of that, grazed by the vehicle, but not out yet. Becker continues to take shots and will finish it there and then. Broken leg regardless.
Man. Okay, big balls are fire as damage is done onto the vehicle, and he tries to stand his ground. Becker quick on the medic maneuvers, trying to get the heal in. Meanwhile, when Lease, they're being attacked. DX have crashed onto him, but DS, they've crashed more literally just straight into the faces there, hitting the shots one by one. Melissa expiring as they've been stung by the Scorpions, it seems. Blank unable to defend from that one. DX can reset, pick clean the corpses on the floor now as well, and reset the utility they've got to work with, so they're going to be content. Meanwhile, back on the move, Xenox, he's been pretty damn quick with his scouting. He's been able to take some point man positions and look to get the damage out early. Again here, setting his focus towards the bridge. Wants to put pressure on Squash, who's so low outside the play zone as well. So a single bullet he was hoping for, try and make that elimination his, doesn't go his way. Backs off with at least the read and tries to play with the rest of the team. Vitali, he's got a read on him. Trying to take a couple of shots off, but doesn't want to do this as a solo. Blank. Playing smart, knows he still has a team to work with, even if it just is the 3 of them.
Yeah, Blue's really being the big pressure point right now for Inko, because they've got to move further in, but they know as soon as they start to head over towards the top side of this lip, they're going to be in angles of a lot of other teams that are inside the lobby. Freak here trying to hold his own up towards the Wizard Tower. You can see off towards his western side, you got Duxan as well, but Becker very happy to try and take this fight with an incredible hold versus these other squads. Freak, though, takes down Vitali, looks for another, but won't get it and will fall himself. So Nigma Galaxy come away from this game with a 1 single point up to 6 now. So a 2-point average for Nigma Galaxy so far feels pretty horrible. Quest get way further into this game than they have any others, and that's saying something considering we still have 12 teams alive. We see Procedure Evos off towards that central arena alongside with Reject and End Hyper. This could be a great game here for Evos and starting to get some of that points potential on board.
You'd like to see him have a good game as well. the talent that's there on this roster at times, man, feels so powerful. When it's a good sort of mix-up for them as well, when they come in playing off each other's comms very nicely, it's very fun to watch. So having a center position, having firearms in their hands as well, we'll see if they can bring the heat, if they can command respect the longer this one goes on. FaZe back on the move as well, looking to set themselves up as the smokes will be cast out bit by bit. Redface looking like he wants to try and at least have info on this, get the eyes on the situation. The engagement here, though, is pretty easy to clean up versus what remained of Inco. One by one, they have been broken and bruised there. So the Brazilian side move from the situation now as they'll go out again. That's unlucky in the end there. Inco, of course, fought hard to even make it here, Blank, and they are getting a little bit bullied. Similar sort of things have been happening to Alter Ego. Again, pressure applied on them. Fnatic from the side at least assists where possible, but he's got to scurry off, got to reset on this one now.
Yeah, it's good potential here for them to hold out DXavier, right? But at the moment, it's not looking too good. Holds on the spray from quite a while, but at least does find the shots over towards Lamborghini, laying him low. Outside the circle will delay them a lot, making this very uncomfortable for the squad of DXavier to make it in. Pasija Evo's taking shots over towards FaZe, who are currently huddled up over towards a very, very small shack at the moment. The shots even coming through from Spec here on Nasa. But Pasija Evo's currently sat at 28 points in 11th place. Is a team that definitely needs to put some more on the board here.
A lot of open ground
for
here
Pasija
over
Evos.
towards this pizza wedge, essentially over towards that
a
western
lot of history
side.
on this team,
Another
right?
difficult
and I think a lot of
circle
Indonesian
LGD
fans will be
is
very
in
excited
alright
to see
spot
this
at the
team go
moment,
through
but
to
you really
the
do wonder where
PMGC
this
Grand
circle's
Finals.
gonna end up,
Specifically,
because it
just
ends up right
to
on
be
top of
able
the
to
bridge.
see the
It's gonna be
twins
difficult for a
there
lot of
on
these
the
teams to
grand
find
stage
anything
once
to work
again.
with.
But
Inco
28 points,
down
that
towards
won't cut the
inside the
bacon
bridge.
just yet.
On the
They need a little bit
backside.
more on
This
board.
is
And
hugely
very
central.
central
This is
position they currently
classic Inco
hold on to.
gameplay.
This is a fantastic game to rack up some
really
big
powerful in
elimination
their
points,
position.
to
North
rack
Shore,
up themselves
very likely
a good
will be
amount of
finishing
placement
there,
points
but
too. You know, this should be a second,
LGD can
third,
just sit
first
here and
place
control
game
everybody
guaranteed.
else trying to make their way across, as can Inco, unfortunately, though, Alpha 7.
It needs to come to fruition in that
It's
manner.
over the top, Vitali low, Becker at the back. Will be able to stay alive here. Another nade on in to try and pick up the flush. Rezus very, very tricky there. Down one, trying to get across the bridge, shut down.
And what's going to happen here in the
say,
close
4 players
quarters
alive.
engagement with so many teams
Currently
shoulder
split
to
2 and
shoulder,
2. The other
all
2
pushing
players on
further
the
down.
east side of
As soon as
Rozok.
that zone starts nipping at their heels
Down
as well,
one.
it will cause problems
Sit
in
above
the
them.
breathing room. So you've got to fight for
Just
what you
about
want.
coming over that
Pushing
hill
in
on the
now
western
on
edge.
reject,
North
looking
Shore
to
for
try and
Vampire
swoop
already.
in and steal the
They're in
compound
one of
from
those towers,
underneath
but
them.
they're going to
The
have to move
nade
further
with
in.
aggress
They know
first.
Aegon
Julo
Exile
ready
here.
with the shotty
They
as well,
should know
firing
the
off
DRS
that shot from
rolling
the
up on the
DBS.
hillside.
Meanwhile, the building is
It's a hard
burning.
cross here. I
Wakes
think
up.
Schwabs is playing this one very, very
Didn't
well,
even
knowing
see
that
that
there's
one,
probably
Blank.
off angle to
Swings
make
round
on
the
that
corner,
UZM
hits
goes
him,
down,
takes him off his
Galaxy.
legs.
A lot of eyes on this
Ignacio
position.
turns for the
Goes to
back
the other
door
one,
as
left remain,
well.
go towards
Read
Rozok's
this
side,
fight
but
well,
should be
Blank.
short
He's been
to
peeked from the
return to
window,
the
takes
fold.
half
Game board
HP
rocked
off him.
They
Just
did
waiting
take
now on the
a knock
off
in the
angle.
process,
Tries
were
to
able to
back
get there.
nade whilst
Boy
his
back up on
teammates are
his feet for
fighting
the time
tooth
being.
and
That's a
nail.
Cashy over
Nade's
that
going
side, then goes
down.
through
Who
for
else
hefty
wants a
damage
piece
over
of this
towards
fight?
Narvalo.
What is this? There's 3 teams on the same compound.
alive,
Regioso sends out the
Inco,
side into the
Rob
vehicle
sticks
to
are
get
in
himself
Cashy
some
to
better
back
angle.
Narvalo up on the
He's
hillside. They know
fighting
there's more
for his
players
life at
here.
this point in
They know they have
time.
to push
Spec
further
moves
north.
in, Hoxie's half
East side
HP,
flank
and
by HC
Regioso's
covering
out
off.
on the edge.
Smoke's
Shorty
being
spots
thrown down.
Junie, but he
Full game board
doesn't
to
inside
isolate
the
sight lines
smoke.
to
And now
create a channel
Duckshan
towards
have
the
another
Enigma
battle to
Galaxy
get
fight.
through. Need to get more players back up
Put
their feet,
nades
but they're falling so quickly. Just
that
Hoxie
way.
and Junie left
Only
alive.
launching
Junie,
them back
a
on over. No
veteran
one going down
of these
just yet. The
high
rest of
scale
down one trying to get across.
But Nasa move
Oh, gonna
in
be shot
at the
at just
best
yet, but
opportune
everybody's
time
turning their
to
attention
pick
that way
themselves up.
now.
9
As Vampire
eliminations
have
off
to
the
be on
back
the
of this
swivel.
bad
Actually
boy.
manages to get all the
Two
way
players
across.
left
Down one
alive,
gaming
but on the southern
will
edge.
stay alive
This
for
is
now.
pretty
Reggie
decent
shots
stuff.
over towards Alpha 7.
That was an intense
they're
fight.
still peppering
That
away
one was
at
a
the
lot
Galaxy,
easier. That's
despite
a
being right on the
spray
south-
down,
the
slay
south cut of the
down
circle.
there. As we see
It's
both
been a
of
survival
Alter Ego's
game here
last
for
remaining
Aegon.
members quickly
They know they have
packed
some
up
good
and
sight lines
swept
towards a
away.
lot of this tree
Beautiful
line,
fight though in the
just take
compound, man.
easy shots
Even in the way that
back to
Tokyo
cover.
tried to play
Freak
it with
though,
rejects
these are
bouncing back
shots
and
you
forth
need
right? We saw OCO, smart heads up plays at least, even though they go down in the fight.
Currently
You can see the
26
gun
points,
skill, the
28 after those
mechanics
two limbs.
were out in full
Quite far down
force.
towards the bottom of the
Nice
lobby.
intense compound crash though leads us into the rest of the game. FaZe again continue applying pressure. Chaos been overwhelmed, gets
shot down as well. Victor and Robs active, they want to try
away
create
the
some
final
cover, but their
tag onto
teammates are getting
that.
shot
So
out in the
getting the
meantime.
extra
They're not
elim
in the
for
next
their
circle, and
troubles.
IHC have
Parajin, though,
moved in
will
front
be
of
put
them.
down in the ground
With the chaos
as
that they
he's
were
picked
where they were
off by
involved in
FaZe. Now
winning the
starting to make
Galaxy.
their move
Godless,
into the center,
side swipe on the
getting
off angle,
themselves closer and
teammates
closer.
will fall.
Just
Two
trying to
players
play
now
off
left standing
whatever
for Game Lord
geometry will
on the
actually
south side, and
provide
a
some
tricky
sort of
rotation ahead of
protection
them.
for them.
Likely they're going to have to move north of the river, and
Suspicious about the
IHC
smokes
have
as
got the
well.
shots. They
Knows
split
that
one
there
on
could
one
be
of the
someone
vehicles.
lurking,
The
waiting
reload's
to
there.
peek.
The back
And he's got
player
contact
actually
on
going to be able to get
Star.
to the
Quick
coastline.
flick there.
Unlikely to
Hits
get
the
across,
head
but
blank
still
and
somehow
shuts the man
squeaking it
down.
through.
Yeah,
Forward
very nice
position
little shot there and pick up
will
from
be
FaZe.
taken
This is a
away
really
from them,
difficult
however,
area of
and
the
it's
map to
just
play.
picked away.
Honestly, you see a lot of teams play this one out.
Inside the water himself. Chunksy did go down to a shot coming through
There's
from
a slight dip
Besiktas all the way
as
on
we
that
head
eastern side.
down.
They'll
It's
have to move
almost
further in.
unnoticeable,
Inco
but
once
it
again
does
find
give FaZe a
themselves
significant
a very
advantage, in which
troublesome
case they can
spot,
take
but a
shots
spot
over
that they have
towards
lived
Geek
in.
Xavier.
The
The
nades
difficulty is
Revo
the
didn't
fact
quite
that
do
so
the
much of
final
the
job
west inside
towards
the
them,
circle
able to
still in
live
play
a
here.
little bit
The
longer, get
Procedure
away.
Evos have a massive
Trying to remain
advantage.
on this
Despite
backside,
that,
and
FaZe
although
is not letting that
it
up.
was
And
very
it's so
rough to play from
surprising
him
we're
earlier.
not
Now
seeing
everyone
Procedure
realises it's a hot
Evos take a
spot.
little quick peek over towards this eastern side. See if they can pick themselves up some more eliminations. Right
just
now,
the
they're
one. They
currently
turn
running
around the
on
corners
12,
though, and they got the DBSs at
placement
close
point
range. I think there were
16
several going off
This is a
there.
game
There's
where
at least
you
two
want
on
to
the
pump those
roster.
elims up,
Vampire
even if it
keeping the
means you get
shotguns in
yourself a
hand.
second place. But I can see why they wouldn't want to give up the gas station here.
The circle's still
Maybe
in
just
closing. We'll have to
letting
move out
one
from this
player
position, trying to
out
get as
on
many
the
reses
roof,
through as
sending
possible
to the
before they
side,
start
find
to
a
make
quick
that
pot
grand
shot over
dash.
towards FaZe.
Becker
Currently,
just
there's a
taking
4-player
shots.
team.
Inco
They
already up to
have
3
a
eliminations
chance
so
to
far from
try
the
and
waters
take down
below.
Procedure
The
Evos in
Sharks
the endgame.
looking for a little bit more to chew.
Vehicle goes up, so can't sit in that anymore. Nade
Big
over the top from
chances.
Squash as he launches up.
There it is.
Off the bank
Open
side.
opportunity for this one. The swing
Really
into
struggling
the
here.
favour of
Inco
Evos
doing a
now,
stellar
though.
job. 3 eliminations
Nice
so
first
far.
tag down the
Forest should
hill.
be spotted.
Connection
DRS in the meantime,
across,
southwest
DX
side. Vampire
suffering
at their
from it
back.
as Luxy will
Looking
be
to
able
move
to
up.
spray
Schwepp does
his way
fall.
in. Gets the
It's
tap
rejected
off
there.
that we needed to see. So the compound
Off
control
angle
still
should be
firmly in
resible
their
here for
favour,
Vampire. 4
and they're
eliminations
starting to
already on the
clear
game.
out the players that were edging
Reject.
closer towards them.
The deck from
FaZe,
Delta.
meanwhile,
Either
still
player going
towards
down.
the ridge side. Mormon
Draw some ammo, draw some sightlines away from Vampire. On
Close
their
on
approach on the
in.
southfraed side.
You've got a
Blue zone
couple of
moving in.
angles
Shots
of
from Ravenclaw as they
connection
crest the
here as well.
ridge.
Spec being
The
one of
back
them,
line
he's
not
firing
safe.
off the
Rules
warning
repositioning.
shots. And then,
cannot
for you to
risk
Alliance,
this peak.
there's actually a bit of
Go
a
for
chance
the spray
here
that
to
he
just
wants
be a
to find,
fawn
but the
in the
nade
side.
over the top.
If you're not
Could
clear,
be on the
you're
money.
so
It's the only
far
one who's got in the
back down towards
pocket.
the ridge.
Looks like it's
As
on
FaZe
target.
come
Maybe a
pushing
little
up,
bit
you
short
could
there.
try and
Will
get
fall
stuck into it.
just in front of the
Especially
rock.
if
The
the
Delta
tiny
hides
works to put
behind.
down from Spec and they
Swings
draw
out wide.
attention.
Yanti shots over the
Lots of
reject.
small
They are
nuances
caught
on
in a
this
trap
one, but
right
the big
now.
focal point
DRS
is
needs to
just
stay
the
strong.
fact that Evos are in a great position to try and command the
push for a
game.
lot of teams at the moment.
Rough recovery mission there.
VP's not making this
Very much
easy.
so. Chloe just goes
They're
down.
remaining
Leaps
outside the
finds
sightlines
Spec
from the
makes
guys
a
of
rotate
Reject.
through.
So
Procedure Evos now up
the
to
DRS
5
they just have to
eliminations,
push for this
looking
team
for a little
front.
bit more, and they have
Enigma
to push
Galaxy
for
do
more
go
here
down,
because
Besiktas
you got a 5
still
elimination
pretty
game
strong on that
with a
eastern
chicken dinner.
side.
It's all right. 15
DRS
elims, 15
slowly
points, sorry,
being pulled
total
back
is
here by the
decent, but
nades.
you know,
Reject,
pumping that as
Divine,
hard as you
sending
can
stuff
here. They
over.
know they
Killer
want more
now steps
points.
up,
It's a
takes down
very
Schwepp,
good
the
initial
UPP
nade that's sent out, but
3,
FaZe is on the
the
back
diving,
line.
but 6
They're not looking
eliminations.
to give this
Already
game
found,
up.
looking for a
Another
bigger game.
amazing
Inco
nade
currently
on the predict
dominating
over
from the
towards
backside.
G-Fan, and Red FaZe
Killer
is
last
just
standing
sending
now
these
for DRS.
over
They
and
would know
over again.
pretty much where that
Another
position is
one
going to
will
be,
take
but
down
Killer finds
GK
another one.
first.
Oh!
Now just FSS
drifted over.
left,
He didn't get it. Okay, fair enough.
Face to stand out for this one. One knock goes over towards Luxy with the 5 eliminations on board. Nade sent over the top, over towards FaZe. One of the final teams alongside with Oliolio over on UDO Alliance, looking for that second place placement point steal.
Just came crashing down right at the end.
Evos, this is where you've just got to shut things down, close it out, don't let mistakes start to get out of hand. FaZe fighting tooth and nail though, bombarding down onto Misery, who's forced to hit the deck, so belly down to the ground, drops himself into the vehicle and tries to drive out of there, keep himself safe, susceptible to the shots though, but goes for the getaway. If we can see the res, FaZe will at least have a fair fight in the 2v2 in terms of the players that are currently up, but Evos are going for their recovery as well. They want to grab Link, have some additional numbers in this battle to play with. Quick pop heal as well, nice peek up, beautiful damage done with the AR, switches to the DBS,
we will
wants to go full frontal blank, he's getting in their faces.
What is going on? Already we see another knock come through with the DBS, Misery left alive and he's taking damage here and there, able to clutch it out, but UDO Alliance are still in the wings here, Jackie.
Near the rivers, hasn't committed to it just yet, actually,
around the outside.
finding a spot
Is there
right near the
anything
edge of
that
the
can be
circle
done?
right now.
They're low. Now would be the time to strike.
They have
Once the
8
players are
eliminations,
down,
so placement points they can
they're on
rack
their
up now.
last legs.
There's a
Doesn't
lot
have
of
the full list of information
ragtag
that we do, though,
teams in
so
the
his
river.
decision making will be affected
If they can just
by
stay
this,
alive and not
this
get
just
caught
gives
up in
more
it,
time to Evos
can ladder
to
up
try and
easily
reset
6 to
things.
7
Red
team
Fate's now
places here.
back up. He's just going to be watching,
taking
looking for
shots,
the
this
peak
guy
over,
really
gets the
performed
heal
very
in
well
as well. The
through the
longer
group
this
stage.
goes on, the
A
more
little bit of
numbers
a
you're going to have
slower
to fight
performance coming
against.
through on the
So
survival
you
stage,
do
but has
Alliance,
made
the
it in.
chance of this one
Still
being
had some
clutch
really big
now far
moments.
harder. Again,
Seems
falling
like he's
into a
still being
position
that
where this
front
should
man
be a
for the squad. Those
guaranteed
sixes really
chicken
caught
dinner
my eye
for
recently as this
Evos.
backstop member.
Man, that could have been a chicken dinner there for Udo Alliance, and Olio just need a little bit more confidence to try and go in and bruise the pride there of
haven't pushed their luck,
Evos.
actually.
He's got 2 nades in hand, there's no utility on the side of Prestigia Evo so far, but that might change once they start to lose some of these crates that surround and litter the battlefield. No meds available for Misery, other than those stims available for him. Might go for a quick scout in the vehicle. So far this game, Luxy is absolutely putting some mega work for them. 5 eliminations so far. First initial nade sent out. After that, there is another sent over the top. Little bit of damage found, but not a lot.
In the buggy, we'll be able to bandage up. Get a little bit of healing done.
We can really set the stage
Staying alive
for
now.
on
That
this
south
one.
side,
Unless
just all of the teams who went to the river as a last chance. LGD finally having to leave their stronghold. Besiktas ready and waiting to receive.
The likelihood low,
They
but
won't find a
potential
knock just
reward
yet.
very,
2 players
very high
active.
here for
YZ and
Alliance.
Suki.
Just crawling his way
already on the
around
high
through
ground.
the reeds right now.
He's still
staying
in the
down
next
in the
circle.
ground. Luxy is jumping
Playing around that
trying
bridge.
to get info on this.
Besiktas,
Just wants to
they know
spot
where
where
that is.
exactly
The nade
he
over the
is.
top from
They're
Zessi.
playing a more fragmented
Finds the
system,
high ground
just
knock
looking
in
for the
LGD.
trade. There's the contacted seams.
Join the
Bullets being
teams
spammed into the smoke. So
in the
just
river
a bit of a
crawl.
pre-fire
Just
rather
picking up
than
more and
actually
more points here. I mean,
locating where he
Raviel
is just
is
yet.
in such a powerful
Longevity
position.
on this one being
Yeah,
played
even
out
as a
though,
solo
fair
from
play
this
to
spot on
him.
the side,
You've got the time
doesn't
to
have to
work
take
with.
many
You wanna
fights
make it as
coming
awkward
through
as
from Reject, but
possible.
what he can
See
do
what he can
is
get done
certainly
here.
pick up some good
Yeah,
points
I
down
mean,
towards the
the
river.
mistake was
Might
made
not get a
way
huge
early,
amount of
and
place
this
of
should
points
definitely
here,
be a
but
Prestigia
any team
Evo's
that he
win.
can
But the thing
remove
is,
is
as soon as
good
you
news
see
for him.
the teams go down to 2 and the
Still
amount
has
of
cover
knocks
from
that
the
came
rock,
through in
but
the
Besiktas
elimination
will have
field,
clean lines of sight
Olio
this
should just be
direction
sending in,
as soon as
looking
they
for
step up, but
elimination
they're
points
more
where he
than likely
can.
going
Just
to
find a
commit to
little
just
bit of
going
damage
north
start
of the
things
river.
off, but that'll be all it
On
is.
this
as
next
Red
circle, they have
faces them
30
off in a
seconds to play.
21
The question
point
is,
game
what will
there
they
for
do
Prestigia
with the
Evos,
position they've
which
been
will
given?
make them
Zessi
feel
actually
a
looks
lot
for a
more
swim
secure in
across.
their standing.
Ravenclaw
But
steps
yeah,
up for
I
more.
definitely think that Olio could have got, you know, at
Just
least
back
2
behind,
wins
and
off
yeah,
the
there we
back
go.
of that. If he just
Besiktas,
tried to flush
as soon
through
as
the
he takes those
players,
shots, they
maybe
go
even
down.
a chicken
And it's
dinner
10th
if he
place
just
for
went
Vampire,
sooner.
which
I
is
think
really
like I said,
unfortunate.
as soon as you see those knocks in the elimination
Luckily,
feed,
9
as soon as you see
eliminations
it drop down to 2 teams
on
remaining,
the cards.
you
We'll
just
jump them up a little bit on
you
the
just
tables,
flying
but
because the
they
result
could've got
is the
so much
same
more. There's
either
9
way.
teams still remaining.
No, it's
And
very
I'm very,
true,
very
right? There is
certain
no
that it's going to
worse
be
outcome.
much
There's
fewer than
nothing
that.
that's going to result in you getting
Not
less
very long.
points and are going to be forced into a
Yeah,
flat
with a lot of the
out
teams
nowhere.
already have
I
fair
agree
few
with you,
points towards the top
you know,
lobby,
as much as
feeling
it's
very
one thing
healthy.
where he didn't
Over the
have
game
the
lord
full
currently, I believe that
situation,
is
we have
now
a little
Ballo
bit
in the
more
water
information.
himself.
Going into a
No,
fight
it's
like
Victor
that
this
where you
time
know they
around
just
putting in
had
the shift.
that final
Okay,
fight, no matter
Game Lord's
what,
going to live for a
HP
little
is
bit
gonna be
longer. They're
low.
the solo
He was
team
basically in a
apparently.
1v1
And
with
this
a
is good
half
news for them.
HP
6
player,
eliminations
but
get
obviously
maybe
didn't
further
have
into
the chops
top
on him
in
to
terms
go
of
for
place
it. You can
points.
see the
Inco
excitement
already,
here, though.
clocking in at
Evos
9.
looking very
They get the
vocal.
majority of the
Luxy
work
telling
done
the
towards that
stories
first
from that
hour
one
of work,
as
and then they just kick their
relay
feet
some of
up
the
and
plays
then
they
rest
just
for the
made.
rest of the
Fair
day
play,
until
though,
they need to
for
do
what it
something
was,
else, or
Blind,
at least the
Prestigia
manager asks them
playing
to
a
go
great
do
game
something.
there. You know,
So for
had a
them,
good setup
they're getting the
early.
big game
They were
in,
confident
securing
in the way
themselves
they wanted
towards
to
the
take
top
the
of the lobby
compound and
nice and
played
early
it
on, give
smart. So
themselves
you do
that
love to
buffer.
see that.
It's a
Yeah,
very
it's awesome to
relaxed
see
little
Luxy
last
like
chance
top
here
in the
for
tails
Inco,
in
I'll be
total
honest.
damage and elimination.
This is
there.
where
I mean,
Inco could
well-revered player within
sweep up a
PUBG
lot of these
Mobile
points.
esports.
8 eliminations already. I imagine they're going to be able to see 3 or 4 more in the next couple of minutes. Shots over towards Alpha 7 as Ragey backs them off the wall.
It really was
They've been held in this compound for so long. Remember, this is the compound that they fought HVVP for. Both teams wanted to crash it.
But look at this.
And the fact that Alpha 7 are alive this deep in a really strong position. Just makes you wonder what HVVP could have done with it as well.
Which is amazing. I'm really glad to see it. But again, you do Alliance, a little bit of a throw at the end.
Why said it fights Inco. Becca, maybe being dismounted there, is going to look for the rest of the Vitali, but another name to follow. The Cook looks a little bit too short there. YZ lets it go a little bit longer. This one, though, could prove to be a little bit more brutal, but the bounce off the rock
hold down the fort.
Would have been too long anyway.
Evos held down gas station.
In the
Looking
Arsenal,
fantastic.
jump out wide, and YZ tucks back into cover. Besiktas are there with nades as well. Vitali goes down again. Becca, no. Besiktas on the other side of the river.
Of course you are
LGD
in this
out of
location,
nades
but it's
now.
very
Entirely
easy to
flash.
abuse with that third-person
5
perspective.
elims
You
now
can
for
just
LGD.
chuck the nades, get the easiest elimination
Why is
in
he
the
doing a
world
very
onto
good job? I
an
think he's
Hyper,
realised
but
that, you know what, he's not getting a
for
high
third
place.
party,
What he
and I
can do
really
is get a
thought
lot of
that was
elims
gonna be
here.
the end of the
Squash
Siege
moves out the
Egos,
water.
but
This is a
it's
full
down
on
to
challenge
Misery.
between
He's
him
able
and
to clutch
YZZ.
up,
See
go
what
for
he
the
gets
res,
done
and get
here.
the
Raging.
final
Race
play of
Yoshio
GD
goes down.
alive.
Squash
That's how
actually
you hold
knocked
down a
as
position
well.
like that. You just make sure you can use
Fortunate
those walls
Titan
to its
actually
full
taking the shot
potential.
over towards
And that's
Reject.
21 points
Alpha
here to
7 the
start off
only
this
team
match.
in cover right now.
Absolutely. Oftentimes we
And they
see
have
the
been
gas station
given this
having
one
a
off
little
their
bit of a
first initial
vulnerability, right?
rotation.
Because there is that small little
Away from
gap
the river.
underneath the
Be able
walls.
to
However,
control all the
they did a
crossing
great
and
job of
Titan know it.
zoning
They
people
want this
away from
compound. They
even
want to take
having
it back
angles
into
on that
control.
little
4
gap.
players alive for
And
Titan.
as you say,
The only team at
blasting
full
them with
power.
the nades as
Mafioso
they
struggling
came
to find an
close.
opening
21
knock
points go
over
their
the
way.
squad. Finally
NASA,
able
for the
to
most part,
thread
we
that
thought
needle.
might have a grasp
Puncher
on
falls
gas
first.
station,
On
kind
the
of moving a little
sidelines
bit
as
to
well.
the
Up
east,
and into the
but
fray.
eventually just
Too
started
many angles for him to deal
blasting
with those.
everything
Kaneo
anyway for those
unleashes the
south
Groza.
rotates. So I mean, it's a really big
Looks
game
for
for
the
them as
flush.
well.
I think it was
Over onto
J7 that was in the
Puncher.
warehouse, and
The
that
rest of
they
the
did
duo
find
just
the
staying at the
warehouse.
back here for
And
Titan.
they have this
2
massive
players now
four-man
alive.
split,
Alpha
and I
7
thought,
on 3
okay,
as
they're gonna wait for the
everybody
next
from the
circle,
river
and based on
finally
where
getting
it
cut
goes,
down.
they're gonna
Inco
regroup
eliminated.
normally
Down
in
1,
what
down
I
4
thought at the
teams
time
remaining
was
now.
gonna be
Black.
gas station, but no, they
What a
regrouped
hold
to
there
the
from
eastern
LGD
side,
though. Why is he
then
still going?
wrap around
Trying to ruin the
southern side of
chances.
the river to
Son
fight
HP has
Inco,
to drop
which
in towards the
I was a
water
bit
himself.
surprised
Most likely will get
by
knocked
that,
out
to be
here, and
honest.
LGD, which
They
is
just
YZZ
completely
himself,
obliterate Inco,
owning the
then
bank,
third-party
taking all the
Reject
cash
were
from the
fighting
vault there
Ducks
and putting
and
in the
come out on top of
elimination
that
points
to get then,
bracket.
as you saw, 9
Looks great
eliminations.
news for
It's
him.
the craziest
10
way to get to that point,
eliminations,
but
yeah.
I mean, the eliminations showed up, so I can't
LGD
argue
will
too
go
much.
down
They
there,
got
but
the
third
points
place,
they
10
needed
eliminations,
in
a
this match.
20-point
No,
game for
indeed, them
LGD.
alongside the Xavier as
Unstoppable
well.
indeed, but
Marblins
Alpha
that
7,
they were
3
able
players.
to garner. Very
with the
important
one.
for their
Teak.
campaign across what is
Wonder if
only
they
2
even
days
figure that he
of
could be in here. They've
gameplay.
got to imagine he's in the
Also,
tower, and now he's
Udo
enveloped by the
Alliance
blue.
kind of making what
Wants
I
to
would
bounce a
say
nade off
almost
the wall at the last
surprise
second,
entry
but
when it
will
comes
be
to
denied
the
even
upper
that.
echelons
Point
of this
doesn't go
game.
to
Not
Alpha
necessarily
7,
because of
but they get the chicken
circle
dinner
and how things are
nonetheless.
playing out, but
And playing
they were
from
in
a
very
super strong
wide split
compound.
start
Hard
things
fought
off
for them at the
Udo
start,
Alliance,
but they kept
and then
everybody else
I
at
think when
bay.
it gets down to that
Until to the
4v1,
end.
3v1 scenario at
exerted
the
that
end,
control on the northern
it's
shore.
very difficult
I really
for
like
him
this
to
though,
make that
'cause
call
it
to try
completely
and
ties
crest the
into
hill,
their
right?
interview to what
Considering the
Revo's been
elimination
talking
feed
about.
and how
It's
it
a
all
case
works
of
out.
towards the beginning
Exactly,
of
you
the
just have a
games
big lack of information.
of
Like,
the last
did the entire
chance,
team
they
get
were
crushed
struggling
out?
a
Is
little
there
bit
just
getting
one
towards the
three-man
center of the
team
circle,
remaining? Is
playing
it
on
going to
that
be like a
northeastern
bunch of
edge a
solos?
lot
We're
of
just not
times.
quite
They're
sure
an
at that
edge
point,
team
so
just like
let's not take the risk. Let's try and
However, they
survive,
were
try and just
mentioning that
secure
they want to
second
get a
place.
little bit
So I
more
do get the
aggressive with
idea.
their position and
If you
get
did
into a
know
spot
that
where
was
they
misplayed,
find it
as you
and
said, I don't think
not
you had the
have to just
information
think to
that
themselves,
it was
right,
a
we
full
might
squad. So if you
scout this
did know,
position
then
before we go
unfortunately
in,
it could have been
make
a
it
good time to
fully,
strike, but
make
it
sure
was
it's fully
still second
ensured that
place,
we
so
can grab
a
it
good
up.
match,
So
and
instead,
currently
this time
the
around, it's a
best
case of
match
we
for
have to
Udo
fight
Alliance.
HWP for this spot. We're going to send
I was
directly
actually
in
just
there,
doing my
and
impression
we
of
will just
Gladiators
challenge
that
out
game,
any of the
just
team
not
most
being
position because it
here.
is the game-winning spot. And
I don't know,
HWP
that's a little
above
mean.
Alpha 7
But I think this game though was
it could
mostly
have
just
gone
about
either
the
way.
teams who desperately
so
needed to get some
unfortunate
points
that
under their
HWP
belt,
didn't
getting
win
those
that fight,
points
but that's
under
just
their
the way
belt.
it goes
Yes, we talked about
sometimes.
Procedure.
Alpha 7
Obviously,
with the
this is
chicken
their
dinner
last day
to
of play
take
as
them
well,
up
so they
and
really
into the
have to
first
rack up
spot.
as much as possible to build that buffer. Udo Alliance, this is the first time they are playing, so they get some steam going here as they go on forward into this one. And Nazir, which, I mean, 9 eliminations, that's a good start. I think for me, for a team like that, it's a confidence booster. It's to show them that, okay, we can compete against these teams, even though we might have been struggling the first couple of matches, but where can they go from here? And obviously we still have that one Aaron go left to come today. Gladiators, yeah, went out early, but again, they should be relatively safe. Alter Ego, not really much to say about them either, if you haven't seen the chat with Polaris, but
I mean, like, honestly, I mean, as you're saying for Napster, I like their decision-making to just start sweeping and start eliminating. Like, if you think about giving up the gas station location, yes, you could sit on the edge, on the east edge of that circle and just slowly creep up to that. Maybe you'd have to kind of have a bit of a skirmish with the remaining members of Alliance, kind of north of you, as they're also
Alpha 7, they came out with the interview saying, if you come near us, we're going to shoot you down. And HUVP, unfortunately, was one of the recipients of this one, as they close out the game, get themselves even further into top 5.
And actually take some really good skirmishes.
Now, gentlemen, this is a fantastic showing out of Alpha 7 as they look to join Influence Chairman over in the finals.
Normally in the interviews, I'm not gonna lie, we hear them say, "Oh, if we see you, we're gonna like chase you down. We're gonna take your compound." I don't typically believe it. I do now. They just barely saw Pixel moving of HVVP in a really good compound at that. Like, it was a better rotation from HVVP, a lot quicker. But the fact that Alpha 7 just sent it while the team was split was the perfect timing from Alpha 7. And you just can't breach it because the compound, it's hard to leave, but it's even harder to breach right Sandstorm. And that defense was just on point.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
The hard way. Yeah, true.
So excited.
Yeah, they really did. But what we saw from Mythic in that last game, completely wiping out the HVVP lineup.
the teacher.
I asked this before
apparently.
the game, and I'm going to ask it now. Do you think they might have done better if they dropped, or at least close enough to North George, tried to rotate there? Would have been a quick rotation to that comp. That might have actually been the difference in them arriving earlier than Alpha 7. Might have been the biggest difference that they needed. And at this point of the game, making that mistake, not getting a single elim either, not scoring a single point, is definitely going to hurt HVP.
To the Mad Bulls, I think honestly, Tuvica probably is a little bit stressed because he has done so much work for them.
But a couple of individual plays we're going to have to mention here as well. YZZ from LGD, the last surviving player from the teams out of water.
Playing with the Mad Bulls used to be a case that he was
first of all, I mean, obviously the confidence that goes in to be able to pull off that kind of situation, knowing your limits, and knowing what you need to do. But I feel like at the end, to be fair to him, Victor kind of saved him from game where he's not too aggressive.
So I've been very excited to see the development coming through.
The situation is really out there. It's hard to predict what's going to be happening, but he just picked up the pieces. And I think the weapon choice for him in that situation was really good. He was playing the PP Bison, which, as we know, has got a lot of ammo in that clip, and you can just keep spraying down as they just come out of the water. You can just keep spraying, keep the pressure on, and it's going to be really hard to make it over to the mainland. So, yeah, good weapon usage, and YZZ, I mean, they had a good game initially, but making it across that river as a four-man team is just so hard.
We really need to
make sure the points for Alpha 7, 23 LGD though, 20 points.
Free chicken dinners.
I mean, if we talk about those individual point scoring, we talked about was Navarro getting himself 10. I think YZZ has just been able to catch up quite a bit here, because that gets LGD so close to being in top 5 now.
Today. I wonder how close it is. I'm hyped to look at the overall rankings, but this is a game that's going to put them in good standing. What's not going to put a few of the teams in good standing, of course, we talked about HVP, but BTR losing that fight almost instantly to the hands of Gamelord. That's going to put Gamelord in a great position, and it's fantastic for Gamelord too, because before this game, Gamelord with 8 was 49 points. BTR were just barely above them in 6th place, with an extra 2 points with 51. So now BTR falling down, Gamelord going up again.
Especially with Group
Green even Titan Sense start going up as well, because they got themselves a huge chunk of points as they were already 15th or 5th place, I should say, at the time. So we see a lot of movement still happening here, potentially a lot of movement happening when it comes to our fan vote leaderboard. Remember I said S2G was first place yesterday, and they're going to be